Well, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to a little bit cool, blustery Ballinamore. It is Thursday afternoon and this is the Lite Bite Lunch. My name's Rory Devlin and also joining us and in hosting duties. Don't be shy, you can
Hi, I'm
introduce
Cheryl
yourself.
Fawcett.
Right. So Cheryl is also joining us in hosting duties today. I'm delighted we have two outstanding guests on to joining us today. The manager of the Craig Court Hotel in Athlone, we have Philip Byrne, and the creative team from Nina's Pizzeria, we have Claudio from the creative
Hi.
team. So I'm going to get each of our guests to tell you a little bit about themselves first, but we're going to start off. Cheryl is actually going to tell us a little bit about her background and how she ending up on the show with me here. So go ahead, Cheryl.
So my background is a wall.
Yes.
um, well, I moved to Ireland 8 years ago almost, and I didn't go home. I stayed. I stayed and created the Tax Fairy, which has been an adventure, so to speak. But yeah, that's about it.
Grand, and then we'll also go over to Philip, who's the general manager in the Craig and Court. Philip, if you want to tell us a bit about yourself there.
Yeah, thanks very much. I'm general manager of the Craig and Court Hotel. The Craig and Court is located just on the N6 roundabout outside Athlone. So we're just 70 bedrooms, a hotel, and we have 5 meeting rooms. Our main draw is our carvery, which runs most days, and all day Sunday, which is very popular. Also, we're a pet-friendly hotel. So we have developed a nice reputation for having mainly dogs, but some are cats in the hotel as well. So we've done a lot of renovation. So we use different areas for the pet friendly, like our new restaurant and that. So that's mainly that. So yeah, and we have everything around us here in the Craig and really we have free parking and that, so it's very easy access from the motorway. And like I was saying, it's mainly good carvery trade here and a good lot of business rooms coming through.
Great, and we also have Claudio from Nina's Pizzeria in Ballinamore.
Hi. Well, my name is Claudio McCarry. I've been in Ireland for since '72. I've started this small little business here in Ballinamore about 6 years ago, and me and my wife. So we're at the moment trading in a little shopping centre. We're just beside Tesco's. And been doing this business since I was 15, 16. So I'm now 55, so it's a long time. So I've just been invited on this show to tell me about my business and that. So hopefully I'll do a good job.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
no, great. Thanks very much. We're delighted you could join us. So, before we get into everything proper, I know Cheryl is going to tell us a little bit about the Micro Business Awards, which the nominations are coming to an end soon. So, she'll be back to tell us all about it now in one moment.
Yes, obviously get a little bit of a plug-in for the Micro Business Awards for 2022, which will be hosted in the lovely Osprey Hotel in Naas. Nominations close on the 10th of February, so get them in quick and fast. Fast, that's the same thing. You can nominate yourself, you can nominate your friend, and sorry, I'm just trying to pull up a list of the categories as we speak. We have, sorry, reinvention with attitude, making business better star, planet champion, artists, artisans and makers, food and drink heroes, young entrepreneur, event expert, online trader, startup star, giving back business with purpose even, apologies, the over 50s club, digital genius, website innovator, that's entertainment, and of course the very popular one is the People's Choice Award. And then after all that, we have the overall winner, which is just all of the finalists, and we pick the best one. Or sometimes it's the one who gives us the biggest bribe. Wink, wink.
Yeah. And just to clarify, neither myself nor Cheryl have anything at all to do with the actual judging. We just have the job of coordinating it from all the judges, both in Ireland and the UK. And of course, if anyone would like to answer to enter the websites to go to for the Irish Awards, it's irishmicrobusinessawards.ie, and for the UK, it's microbusinessawards.co.uk. You will find the entry form there, fill it in, submit it, and then after entries close, the entries will go out to all the judges for voting. And that's the end of the broadcast for the awards. Now, moving on. One of the things we wanted to talk about when we had you both here today, we wanted to talk about was the recovery of the hospitality sector. We have seen very much a yo-yo effect of we're closed, okay, we're back open, well, we're not really, but we're sort of, and okay, we're going to close again, but we're not actually going to close, we're going to let you open, but then not for as long as you'd like to. Do you think that's a fair way to sum up where we are at this stage?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
So
it's for me. It's kind of like, okay, I have the advantage that I can just do a takeaway. So, but the table wise, like being on and off. Sometimes you look and you get so frustrated, like, and you're saying, what are they doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like they haven't given us a straight answer since all of this came in. Like, you know what I mean? They kind of go back on their word and all this. That's my opinion. I don't know now about food there.
Yeah, I think they've just confused people with a lot of the regulations up and down every night. People want to be straightforward. I think a couple of the measures that should have kept in place and stop changing them around so much, and people might be more at ease at the moment.
I mean,
see, people don't
trust. Is there a fear in the public? Like at this moment in time, is there a fear in the public that if we plan to go out for Sunday dinner in 3 weeks' time, are we actually going to be able to? Or are people saying, well, we'll plan it, and if we have to change it, we'll change it?
I think there's a fear and there's also a mistrust,
Yeah, I don't think people are booking. They're waiting now.
I have a few relations that own Italian restaurants, and because of all of this confusion, like they have booking cancellations and everything, and it's cost them a lot of money. And the thing is, like, it's so confusing. I think they should either say one thing or another, But I think the government, my personal opinion is the government doesn't have the knowledge or the guts to just make one particular decision, Yeah,
I mean, at the same time, we have to give them some leeway in the sense that where it's an ever-changing situation, they don't know what's coming down the road. So in that sense, we have to give them a little bit of leeway. But at the same time, if their modelling is being done correctly, they should have a good indicator. So it's a case of, like, if they had decided, well, you know what, we know Omicron is coming, we know the likelihood is that the after effects aren't going to be as bad, so we'll just leave everything open, and then worst case scenario had happened, everyone would be on screaming and shouting that, well, they've let us down again because they haven't done X, Y, and Z.
Yes, yeah.
So it is a tricky situation for them.
I think the 8 o'clock really just put the biscuit for people. Really, the closing I'm a hotel. I could open a bit longer, but still people weren't booking, they weren't going away. That was maybe that 8 o'clock really does annoy more people even further, where we're going out at 8 o'clock. 10 o'clock would have been okay if they kept it. You could socialise it a small bit more. And I think that's what really has annoyed a majority of the customers coming through. They don't know what to book, don't know where to go. And that's really killed the January period for people.
Yeah, but I can't understand this 8 o'clock thing, because why you don't get the virus at 8 o'clock or after 8 o'clock. You get the virus. You can get the virus anytime. So what's the point of telling the hospitality people, oh, you can't let people in after 8, because that's a bit, as Philip says, that's when people want to go out. That's when people want to, go for a drink or go for a meal or go for something. Is that a particular time?
Let's be honest about it. If there was a football match on the television, that's going to run on long after 8 o'clock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, that in itself is hugely damaging. But, and again, I'm still intrigued if we ever manage to find out where the 8 o'clock time came from.
I would presume that it's after a certain time and after beverages they're taking, people are intoxicated, maybe majority, and they wanted to bring that back to a period where it might be not more manageable for pubs and different stuff if it goes past a certain hour.
Yeah, that's also quite possible.
That's my only kind of.
So, yeah, but the thing with this situation is that I find that you go into a hotel or you go into a restaurant, you go in and you're sitting down and you're having your meal and everything. You're not walking around, you know what I mean? Like, you're staying where you are. You're having a nice meal. When you're finished, thank you very much. You pay your bill and you go. Like, it's not that you're hanging around, like, and then you get, I feel you get intoxicated and you're starting hugging people.
Yeah.
And that. It's not that. So I don't know why they should have done it a bit better for restaurants. Yeah, you should have done it a bit better for restaurants and hotels and than pubs.
Yeah. Well,
that's the way I feel.
Definitely.
For the hospitality sector to be viable, I mean, it is well known in the hospitality that what you take through December is going to carry you through January and February, almost right the way up to St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
Given the situation that we've had, what do we need to hear this week, and not just hear, but actually see followed through on, in terms of restrictions, in terms of supports, etc.? What is it that the industry actually needs right now?
For me, it thinks it just needs somebody to get up and say, right, this is what's going to be, this is what's going to be done, and that's what's going to stay. Instead of kind of going, oh, okay, we'll open up, and then after a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, they see the figures again. Oh, no, we have to go back to this, and we have to go. You want 100%. Listen, this is what's going to happen. That's it. Just to kind of somebody just to get, as they call, I know the saying, the rails of the horse, and just hold on and let's go. But there's like Phil said, you can't trust anything that comes out of the government's mouth at the moment, because after a month they've changed to this, after another month changed to that.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir, we're actually 4 o'clock. Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
See, the food is so good, they come in at all times of the day to see you.
Yeah, that's the popularity. That's true advertisement.
I was saying the restrictions, the restrictions should be just lifted. The COVID passes, I think, should be gone. They're gone because, like I said, before I came on, I had 4 customers come in, 2 had it, 2 didn't. It's not that they didn't have the certs, they just forgot them, they didn't have their phone, they're elderly people. We're turning away 2 customers. I think the COVID passes need to be gone. Businesses have shown they can be responsible, and people showed they have to be responsible themselves. There is if they need to keep social distancing in, okay, we can manage with that. But COVID passes, like Claudia was saying, we need to go forward now instead of going back the whole time. You know, going forward, coming back. The subsidies definitely need to be extended what they are until after March. If they're not extended until after March, they can't reduce them any further because businesses wouldn't be open. Our hotel wouldn't be open. A lot of businesses would not be open at the moment. Our employees wouldn't have a job, even though it's very hard to even keep them in a job at the moment because levels of business have dropped down so much. You know, so measures still have to be kept in place for the next few months.
Yeah, no, absolutely. My only concern I have with seeing them revoke the COVID passport is for anyone who is anyway vulnerable, even if they are fully vaccinated, are you going to create then that they will be afraid to go out, and in their fear of going out, could that actually have a more detrimental effect on the hospitality industry?
I think they have a fear anyways. The government, I think there's a fear anyways for some of the elderly still to go back out. I think once a business operates in a professional and a safe manner, your customers will know and they will come back to you. If you don't, you don't. It's up to the business as well to be responsible. More so to give that consumer to get back into them, back in.
Yeah, so there's certainly a lot of food for thought there. Now, as some of my viewers will probably know, today is actually National Cheese Lovers Appreciation Day. And what better way to make use of cheese than, of course, on a good pizza? And that's why we did have to bring an expert when it comes to pizzas in.
Well, sort of.
Yeah. Well, put it this way, you're the only place I've ever known who's managed to turn a carbonara into a pizza in such a way that it's not a sloppy, runny mess and that it's very tasty. So,
yeah, well, you see, the thing is when you make a pizza, you have to do it in a way that you have to experiment with yourself.
yeah.
You know, I experiment with my kids. Anything I put on the menu, I bring home and I put it on the table and I say to my kids, okay, what you think? And they kind of give me impression, then they give me the taste. And I always have a philosophy, like, you know, never sell something that you don't eat yourself, because if you don't eat it yourself, they won't eat it either, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's my philosophy. And the carbonara came out. I went to a couple of places in Dublin and they done a few carbonaras, and let me tell you, I wouldn't even have given it to my dog, you know. And so I looked around, and I have a sister in Italy, and I said to her, "Do you ever taste the carbonara pizza?" She says, "Yeah, there's a guy here that does it, and he does it this way, you know." And she said she went there specifically to the restaurant, and she took a picture of it, sent it to me. And I went, oh, maybe I can do that. And that's where it came out of, like, you know. But like most of the carbonaras that I found in Ireland were just, they had an egg in the middle of it and they had a few bacon slices or whatever. It wasn't really, you know, so I tried it that way. And so far, I got the reviews I got on it is okay. Like, it seems to be okay, fine, like, you know.
Yeah.
I know, and the cheeses I use, it's a mozzarella cheese. It's not like, it's the high end of the mozzarella, you know. A lot of people I see nowadays, they want to cut corners and they use all that cheap stuff, and unfortunately, you can taste the difference, you know.
Well, that's what I was going to say to you. Like, is the quality of the ingredient that important for something that where it's all going
yeah,
on
for
one
me,
piece of bread?
well, in my view, is important, because, you know, if people, and I don't know people's palate nowadays, but like my palate, if I go into a place, I will know if they're using cheap products or quality products, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know what I mean, what they do is they use a lot of cheap products and so they want to get the higher profits, you know. And the thing is with that is, you know, you lose, like, you know, you don't realize it, you lose customers, you know, for giving them low quality. Like, you know, there's a lot of places opening up and there's a lot of places around that are doing that. But unfortunately, that's the way the world has gone. But my philosophy is, like, you know, as I said to you, if I don't like it and I don't need it, then I won't sell it, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, especially if your kids don't like it, then
Yeah. Like, you know, my kids are used to going to, you know what I mean, good places to eat. So their palate is kind of like, you know, a particular level. And like I said, if they don't like it, I don't put it on the menu because, you know, obviously, like, you know, that's the best advertisement. I find it is like, you know, to word of mouth. You know, it's no point plastering posters everywhere, wasting thousands of euros on advertisement if your product is going to be inferior, you know.
yeah. And Phil, how much time would your chef spend experimenting with ideas before they go on the menu? And more to the point, who gets the final say in the restaurant?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I think I do, but I'm not really sure because I see other stuff coming back in when it's turned. So we would have the carvery. So we would change our carvery around a lot in general. And like, you know, we have to do what the customers, what is our best sellers, you know, you kind of get to know your customers and what they want, and it's returning. And the chefs do experiment on different dishes, put that added flavor. And our head chef Grania, she would for change up the menu for summer, autumn time, and winter time. So we would do a food tasting. And one of my favorites actually to do is a goat's cheese salad. So it's a goat's cheese balls. So that's my little cheese for the day. It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was in a hotel in the last week, and I actually thought it was refreshingly honest. I happened to ask the waitress, "What's the soup?" And she said, "Hold on, they've just changed. It's some weird concoction." And she went off and she came back, "Yeah, it's celery and beetroot." So I was like, "No, I won't risk it, thanks." But it was refreshingly honest that the waitress was quite happy to say, "It sounds like a weird concoction." So
yeah.
Which is nice to know that they're like that the staff are tasting the food as well.
Yeah, and have a chance to experiment. Like you said.
That's what it's all about. It's about your taste buds, you know. And in our industry is all about taste, and it's all about the texture and the quality, you know.
Yeah.
And if you get that right, you will have a successful business. If you get it wrong, it doesn't matter how hard you work or how many advertisements you put up. If you're doing it wrong, you won't, like, you know what I mean? It's just money thrown in the bin, like, you know. I see. That's my opinion, you know. But if you have a good product, people will come, like, you know. Okay, there is a few people out there that are begrudgers and they won't, like, you know what I mean? No matter, even if you give them gold, they'll always criticize you. But, you know, that's unfortunately that when we're in this business, that we have to take the good criticism with the bad, you know. So, you know.
Well, again, I feel if anyone has a genuine criticism and they come back and say, "Look, we really need to look at ABC," that's great. It is your professional complainers is one of the reasons I couldn't work in hospitality, because you have these people who their mission in life is to complain and is to find something that isn't right.
Believe me, I have a good few of them around, like, you know. But like the thing is, you just have to. It's like, you know, water off a duck's back. You just have to let it go, like, you know.
Yeah, but tell
because
me, do they keep coming back to spend more money after they've complained?
Actually, they don't come back, but sometimes they send their sons or they send their, you know.
Yeah.
Well, most of but a few of them are really kind of like just, I don't know, they just want to see you maybe fail or want to see you maybe, but for me, all I can say to them is really it's their loss, like,
No,
you know,
absolutely.
so-
Yeah, I think for us, mainly gone online, like we don't get the face-to-face complaints anymore as much as we like. I'm lucky, blessed enough that we don't get too much, and you can see it online more. So people take it to the likes of the third-party sites and would say vent more there. Where it's an awful shame because if they do have a real issue that they want to bring to you, well, they shouldn't own up to it then. They shouldn't mention it to you during their visit or during their meal experience, and then you can rectify it or can look into the problem.
Yeah, you can say, yeah, okay, what didn't you not like about it? And they say, oh, I didn't like this, and you can just fix it then, if they were honest with you, instead of going home and saying, that place was this and that place was that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what it's all about. It's all about kind of getting information, looking at it and improving it. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, continuing on with the food theme, what is your Lite Bite Lunch option? We'll start with Rory. Start with Rory for a change.
It is whatever Cheryl is good enough to make me, but no. Again, we tend to have our main meal in the middle of the day and then have a snack in the evening. So I think today we're having pork souvlaki with some tzatziki, some roast potatoes, bit of salad. So that will hit the spot nicely when I get home after the show.
Yes.
That sounds gorgeous. Who's making that?
Cheryl is.
Me.
You want something on this one, you can tell afterwards. You can. That sounds very nice.
I think if it was up to Rory, you just got a sandwich.
No, if it was up to Rory, it'd be around to Nina's as soon as they open at 4 o'clock.
Absolutely.
Right. And what about yourself, Philip? What would you go for?
Well, I am. It's January, trying to be fit, so it's turkey burgers from me. It is, or usually sometimes here I have a little guilty pleasure of chili wedges. Chili wedges, yeah. They're my go-to here. I'm doing a Lite Bite kind of rushing about.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And my guilty pleasure, I'm going to talk about cheeses, is a camembert. A nice camembert with a bit of crusted bread for a cheese.
Right. Claudio, just before we come to you there, we actually have a question has come in for you. Monique is looking to know what age your children are and if you think Irish people's taste has changed in the past 10 to 20 years.
Well, my children's age is 18, 16 and 8.
So they're well.
And through the years, in my experience, in my thing is that, yes, it has changed a lot. I find that the generation of today are just looking for something quick and easy, and just in and out the door, like, what I mean, eat it fast and that's it. They don't sit down and appreciate the taste of it anymore. That's the way my opinion is. But the because I can see it in my business. I don't know in Philip's, but the older generation kind of take it, are kind of more. They taste it, they appreciate it, they like it better, But the younger generation nowadays, just as long as it's quick, wrapped up in cling foil, and that's it, gone out the door,
It's very much the disposable generation.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so now we can get back to what your ready meal would be.
Me? Oh, well,
Yes.
because I have a sweet tooth, as I said before, my ready meal would be a nice flat white with a chocolate croissant full of Nutella. That's it. Unfortunately, that I have a sweet tooth. But I see what the thing is, being married to a lovely Chinese woman, then when I go home, she makes me a nice Asian meal. So, you know,
Those
that's
fabulous
it.
dumplings.
For lunch, yeah, but for lunch, I'm not a great lunch eater, you know, so I need a bit of a sweetness. So keeps me energy up.
Absolutely. And Monique has also come back to say, Philip, that she totally agrees with you about malicious reviews, and that people are far quicker to give a malicious review than an honest one, right? And that that's something that needs to be looked at by the websites that offer these services as well.
Yeah.
Is some sort of control on the maliciousness.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they do, because like, you know, I had a bad review, right? And I wouldn't mind, but the person that gave me a bad review never even came to my shop. No.
Yeah.
They just decided, oh, I'll give this person a bad review because he was friend of some friend and another friend that had it, you know. And you know, that's what I mean. Like sometimes you can get bad reviews from people you don't even know.
Yeah.
And they just decided, oh yeah, I don't this, that, and the other, you know. Unfortunately, that's what we have to deal with, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to weed them out. You know who's honest. You know, you kind of flick through them. You can say, yes, okay, that's a genuine comment there. We have to look at that. Or you can see if it's somebody having a rant, if you could say.
So when it comes to replying to comments like that, Philip.
Yeah.
Right? Where you know it's something totally malicious, how do you actually stay calm enough not to go on and basically make it very clear to them that you know how malicious they are being?
I'm lucky I can rent at my revenue manager, CJ, and she gets back to me with a nice reply then. You know, so but she has a great way with words, so we don't scuff it. Like if it's not an honest review, we will say sorry, that's not correct, and we will say in a nice manner to them. We won't just sugarcoat it for them, but we say, look, well, we actually dealt with this on the day. This is what has happened.
Yeah.
And we thought you left satisfactory, or it didn't happen. But yeah, no, you wouldn't let me on it. I get somebody else to do it.
Well, I remember a restaurant several years ago, and I knew the owner, and this review had come in, and they were very, very specific about they were this long waiting to be served, they were that long, etc. So he got out his CCTV and he went through it and he timed everything, and he said, well, actually, no, you were 4 minutes waiting, you asked to be given more time.
Yeah.
And they've been backwards and forwards several times before they eventually said, oh, we're leaving because we haven't been served.
Yeah.
Right? And they went on this scathing review how they were left sitting there for X amount of time and were totally ignored. And the staff were too busy chatting, and the interesting thing is the only staff that were on the particular day was the owner and his wife.
Yeah.
So, but you get it, and it's it's part and parcel of the business, and it's just about building the best you can out of the positivities.
Yes, definitely.
So,
No, but the way I would resolve it is, I would tell that person to come back, sit down, and actually taste the food that they're actually saying that it's not great.
Yeah.
And I say, well, then they can stand up and tell me face to face, yes, your food is this and your food is that. Then I would say, okay, thank you very much. I accept your review.
yeah.
But you know, some people like there is people out there just to kind of get under your skin, but unfortunately we have to take it, you know.
And I think over the pandemic, I think people, what I found was their expectations were a lot higher, but they didn't realize how bad the hospitality industry was struggling behind the scenes, really. We were putting the food trays out in front and we had to deal with a lot extra than we're not used to. Staff was dealing with it, but their expectations was the same, which, yes, you're paying for a service and everything, agree, but the hospitality in all shops, everything, retail even, we're dealing with so many different elements. And some public views might have not changed with it, you know.
Yeah,
But you see, they don't see people sometimes that give all these criticisms. They don't know how hard it is, you know.
Yeah.
They just don't know how hard it is to run a business, to keep it afloat, especially with the way things are now. And you know, it's just, I don't know. For me, like them people, like I said, like it's their loss, you know.
Yeah.
absolutely.
You know.
So, Philip, moving on, dog-friendly hotels. As any of our regular viewers will know, I am a dog fanatic. I have 2 absolutely insane dogs at home, right? And when I was staying down with yourselves recently and I saw that you were dog friendly, how did the idea come about to make the hotel dog friendly?
Yeah, so it's great. We've taken before I became general manager of the hotel, they used to do they found a little niche before, and there would be a few dogs staying every now and again. So over the past few years, we have built on it. Basically, we seen there was a niche, and people enjoyed it. In our hotel, unfortunately, we don't have a swimming pool or a leisure centre, but we see that people actually enjoy coming away with their pets more often, you know, and they don't want to leave them in kennels. They don't want to leave them. The parents want to bring them away. So we started promoting it a bit more, and we have, I think, about 6 rooms that is dedicated to pet friendly. And we renovated our restaurant, our whole hotel. Basically, we have 70 bedrooms, and all 70 bedrooms have been renovated now. New carpets, new furniture. Some of them have bathrooms done. But our restaurant, during the first lockdown in March 2020, got fully renovated. New floors, glass walls, and everything. So when we came back from that lockdown, it wasn't being used because we couldn't use it due to the restrictions. So we started using it for dogs, dog friendly, basically. So you could come in, stay, have your breakfast, sit down with your pooch, and then in the evening times you could have your meal in there as well. So we found it very good. People, I've been very surprised with the amount of people that want to go away with their dogs, really. So the girls, the reception, CJ and Grace has developed welcome cards for your dogs to give them treats when they come in. And we have a little bed in the lobby, bowls around the place, poop and scoops bags. And they really like it. Yeah.
That's it. Really is.
No, but it's a good idea because you know, I mean, there's an awful lot of people that are attached to their pets.
Yeah.
They're practically, especially now, especially elderly people that when their kids go away, they have a little dog that takes over from where their kids were, you know,
Exactly.
and they feel horrible sometimes when they have to leave them at home, and some of them don't even go out because of. But now it's a very good idea. Now they can say, "Oh, if I go here, I can bring my pet with me. I can bring Tommy, or I can bring whoever with me." I think it's good. It's good, like you know.
And it is. People do like that. Like you're saying, people do want to bring their, especially when you go away for summertime. Like summertime, you're going with the family, but then the dog's left. What do we do? Who minds it? So they can bring the dog along with us.
Yeah. Philip, Monique wants to know, is your hotel the only one of its kind in Ireland?
No, not the moment. There's a few of them. I know there's one. There's hotels down in Galway and around, but I don't know. Some hotels offer pet friendly services, but I don't know if they're fully pet friendly like us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know some of what's offered, they have kennels that you can put the dogs in the kennels, but they're not allowed in the hotel.
Yeah,
And that, as I said, that's what stood out with your hotel is they are welcomed within the hotel,
yeah, yeah.
just not in the main bar area.
Yeah, this is not a main bar area. That's the only place. That's why we have the restaurant, and in the lobby they're allowed to sit down.
Yeah, no,
Um,
again,
yeah.
had you any difficulties with the environmental health officer or that type of thing?
No, we keep it separately because we keep everything separately. We do from it,
Yeah,
yeah. Anyway, and we keep them out of the bar. And that, yeah.
right. And
And
if
we
anyone
do
is
have a
watching,
pet policy. We do have a pet policy. Now we do like they're not roaming around. They have to be on their leash. There is restrictions a small bit. They have to be trained as well as you
yeah,
know. Yeah. And some people
So
say the
then
dog.
when you go for a meal or a drink and you can't say, "Oh, the dog will pay."
No, probably some of them have chanced it before.
yeah. And just see there, Maggie saying to us that mentioning two hotels there down around Mayo that allow dogs in.
Oh
But
yeah,
it is becoming more popular, which is great to see. And
I'm
now
actually
again,
staying now in that hotel. I'm doing hopefully doing the Connemara cycle. So
well, very
I'm,
good. So
it's
there,
actually
there you go, Maggie. Philip will be in to buy you a pint as well while he's down
yeah.
there. But no, it really is wonderful. Now again, when we're heading away, our two go to what is best described as a 5-star hotel. The place they go up to has 38 acres for them to run. In the front area of the kennels they go into at night is the food area. In the back area has all the beds are risen off the floors, all the dog beds. There's underfloor heating, there's wood burning stoves keeping them all
Wow.
warm. So it really is 5-star and it's great value. But no, there's times I would love to be able to say, come on, let's take the dogs away for a night. And do you have restrictions on sizes, or do you require evidence of vaccines or anything like that?
Yeah, the girls look after all that, so we do require some requirements there. Yeah, with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's
Like you're saying, what you're saying about going away for, we're a value hotel we're a 3-star hotel with value for a customer. We have a good price, and it is easier for people to just get away for a quick break with their dog without paying the extra price, kind of maybe for other establishments.
yeah, no, absolutely agree with
We
you.
do have a pet world. Pet world is actually just down the road with us in the industrial estate, so they have a discount voucher once you check in with us as well.
Oh, that
Yeah,
makes it even better. Bring the dogs
yeah,
down
for
to
buying
Pet
the
World.
cup.
And
Yeah.
so, tell me, how difficult is it to get staff in the current climate? We've heard all the sagas of people want to stay on the pub because it's money for staying at home. But is there actually an appetite for getting people in hospitality back to work?
It's a hard one to answer at the moment. During the summertime, we say just summer has gone, very difficult to get staff. In general, for certain areas, chefs, receptionists, trained professions. I don't. It's. They're not out there. I don't think they're still here. Okay. And at the moment, it's a quiet period, so it's very hard to keep your staff in their jobs at the moment. So going into a summer period, we can't really recruit because the business levels are not there. We don't know future down the line, as restrictions going to be lifted, will we be able to hire new staff? What's the business level going to be? And that is where the challenging parts are. We don't know what's coming through the doors. I feel that there's not professional levels of people in the industry, long-term people that are moving jobs yet or moving around, or they're going into different industries. We lost 4 or 5 chefs going to medical companies during the year. So it's very hard to recruit that type of long-term chefs again,
And again, a hotel chef is a special type of animal. They're not your typical restaurant chef or that type of thing because of how varied things can be.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, in my situation, it's a bit different because the staff is there. They're willing to work, but it's just at the moment that it's just like Philip says, it's difficult because you don't know. Like some of them just are probably set in their ways now for the last year or two, and they just like weigh the options. Oh, go back to work or stay where I am. And some of them find it that it's if they stay where they are, they just get the same amount as what they if they go back to work, and it's difficult, you know.
Absolutely.
You
Well,
know.
Monique is just asking there: is business being affected by the current low numbers of non-EU workers? So, in your case, Philip, for example, students that may have come in on visas who are non-EU who want to work on while on their visa with their 20 hours, and those students aren't coming in at the moment. So is that having any impact?
Not for me, because we're lucky enough we're based in Athlone, so we have the TUS, the Technical University Shannon. That's just 5 minutes walk from us down the road. So we do have a good student base with us. But still, with 20 hours a week, we're not getting the trained professionals, really. Yeah. That's what it is. You know, there is maybe bar staff that you can train up. And once you have the hours for them to give them, it's very hard to get staff and take them on board, and then all of a sudden you don't have your 15 or 20 hours for them, you know, and you don't want to do that to young people that have to pay a rent or they have to live as well. So no, for the EU, we wouldn't have that base here in this hotel, but maybe other hotels might be affecting it.
Yeah. So, what does the year ahead hold for you?
Potentially opened.
Yeah.
I'm back to full steam ahead.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, to keep afloat. You know.
Yeah.
Like you know, to make sure that like it's nothing to do with like you know changing this and changing that. It's just to do with hopefully that we get through all this back and forwards. You know.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. Like you know, because that if we can get a good year or two and then start, it's like once you start throwing a snowball down the hill. It gathers momentum, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But if somebody puts a stop to it, it's difficult, you know.
Yeah.
And I just see that we have another question. Gillian Fell looking to know the name of the hotel. It's the Cregan Court Hotel in Athlone.
Yeah, thank you.
And they will be delighted to see you down there, Gillian.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Port the podcast.
Oh yeah, no,
yeah.
Just mention the podcast or the webcast when
you're booking.
You're in touch, and Philip will look after you when you get down to see him.
Yeah, certainly.
So, have you a big Valentine's menu planned, or are you still in the case that you're sitting in limbo because you're not sure what you're going to be able to do?
Yes, we do have the guys are working on one, so they are working on packages for dinner, bed, and breakfast package, and a glass of bubbly and a glass of wine and a rose for that weekend. I think it's the 11th package, and they are working on actually a dog package as well. Maybe you can get away with your dog for the weekend. Not everybody, yeah.
But it's funny you mentioned that, because I was speaking with somebody recently, and they were actually talking about their wedding, and like that, finding a venue where they could have the dog with them, because the dog was such an important part of the family, has become a huge thing. And I was kind of okay. And then someone else was saying to me recently that they reckon the next big trend is actually going to be pet weddings.
Wow. Yeah.
So we'll watch this space and see what happens there. So we're very nearly coming to the end of the show. So If I can just ask you before we go, Philip, somebody comes to you and says, you know, I have this great idea, I'm going to become self-employed. What advice would you give them?
Oh, if
They're basically going to say, I'm going to go working for myself, whereby I'm going to be doing something similar to you, where I have the responsibility for everything. The buck will stop with me.
yeah, be sure first thing is that you want to do it, that you're in love with it, or you're passionate about it. There's no, I won't say, no point being half-assed about it. You know, it's great. We all want to be out there doing stuff, but you need to be passionate about it, and you need to be 100% committed and sure about what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about you, Claudia? What would you recommend to people?
Me, I would recommend to say, just make sure do your homework first. You know, so in any business, make sure when you go into it, you do your homework. You see if it's feasible. You see what the goings and ingoings and outgoings are going to be. Is it going to be worth it? You know, and then take advice from people that have already been through it. You know, been through it, been successful at it, and just say, listen, what can I do? They will give you advice. They will tell you how to do it because they've done it. They've worn the T-shirt, as they say. And so that's what my advice would be.
Yeah, I think equally it's important, though, to talk to people who haven't been successful at it to learn from where they got it wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, like, you know, like you could tell if somebody went broke, you say, why did you go broke? How did you go broke? And you go, oh, okay, maybe you should have done this and you should have done that, or maybe I can do this and I can do it that way, and see, like, but the main thing is just make sure you do your homework, you know, because nowadays when you open something and you commit yourself at it, and if it goes wrong, you know what I mean, you'll be paying it for the rest of your life, you know.
Yeah.
No, well, again, you have also need to be aware that the likelihood is in the first couple of years you're not going to make a profit out of it. That those first few years is all going to be about building the brand and getting the name out there. So.
That's what you have to do. You have to expect that. You have to expect that in the first few years. You say, you know what I mean, because nobody knows you. Nobody knows you. Nobody knows the brand. Nobody knows the product. So you know, you don't expect you don't expect a week after you got a queue out the door, you know. No, unless you're one of them big industry companies, big minor, like, you know what I mean. Fair enough, but like if you're just starting out by yourself, your first year you're never gonna make a profit. Your second year you're gonna break even, right? And your third year, that's when you're gonna start seeing a little bit of it, you know. But you just have to make sure that them first 2 years, you have to be 100% and commit yourself, you know, because for them 2 years is going to be so difficult, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're a few minutes early, but we are going to wind it up there. I really appreciate you both taking the time today. I understand exactly how busy you are. Before we go, if I can just ask, if anyone wants to find out more about making the perfect pizza or that type of thing, what's the best way to contact you? Is it through the Facebook page, Claudio? Yeah,
Facebook or whatever, you know. I won't tell them the full ingredients because that's a top secret, but I can basically tell them the few bits.
You can point them in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Philip, is it through the website or through social media? What's the best way for anyone to get in touch with you?
Website, thecraigandcourt.com.
Well, listen, thank you both for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you.
We will be back in 2 weeks' time.
It was a pleasure. My first and pleasure, and it was a nice experience. So thank you very much.
Well, we're delighted to be joining. We will be back in 2 weeks' time with another panel of guests and another range of subjects. So until then, have a wonderful afternoon.
Good night.